you there. The Romans is saying that if you want peace, prepare for war. A lot of people agree with this saying that you should fight for what you think is yours. They believe that only by getting what they deserve that they could find peace. They claim that the church teaches them about social justice. That is why it is accepted that they would get their social justice through violent means. But the belief of the common people is wrong. It is true that the church promotes social justice, but they fail to recognize that it equally promotes active non-violence to achieve it. The church believes that through active non-violence that we truly find peace. But first, what is active non-violence? It is a philosophy and strategy that reject the use of violence. And violence is anything that dehumanizes or objectifies people, that ignores and suppresses their intentions and opinions. But do not conclude that the non-violence is a cowardice act of people or afraid of dealing with problems. Rather, it is a lifestyle, personal pledge, a style of approaching social change. Active non-violence encourages people to speak out actively against all forms of violence they encounter. Not only physical violence in war, but also working to overcome interrelated gender, economic, racial, psychological, moral, religious, and all other forms of discrimination. He even go on to say that non-violence of the strong is the strongest force of all. Some of the well-known people who served as examples to this way of life are Leo Tolstoy, Mohandas Gandhi, and Martin Luther King.
What is the basis of church on treating war with non-violence? Some passages from the Bible states this, like in the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 3 to 4. It says here that many peoples shall come and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, that he may teach us his ways, and that we may walk in his path. For out of Zion shall go forth instruction, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. We shall judge between the nations, and shall arbitrate for many peoples. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." This was further emphasized in the New Testament in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 38 to 45. It tells us that we shouldn't fight eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. That only explains that we should love our neighbor as we love ourselves. An enemy. The sacred scriptures clearly imposes that violence is not the answer for someone who oppresses someone, but non-violence. But the church's answer is violence is not the answer for violence, because it will just brought more violence. But there are exceptions to the rule as stated in the St. Augustine's just war theory. But what is a just war theory?
The just war theory is probably the most influential perspective on the ethics of war and peace. The theory has enjoyed a long and distinguished pedigree of notables such as Augustine, Aquinas, Grotius, Suarez, Vattel, and Vittoria. Hugo Grotius is probably the most comprehensive and formidable classic member of the tradition. Credit mostly goes to the triad of Augustine, Aristotle, and Cicero. Many of their rules developed by the tradition has been codified into international contemporary laws, including the United Nations Charter, the Hague, and the Geneva Convention. The tradition has then been doubly influential, dominating both the moral and legal discourses of war. It sets the tone and the parameters of the great debate.
The question now is, how does the Church expect the people to fight for peace through active nonviolence? In 2001, the World Council of Churches initiated the first decade to overcome violence, or what they call the DOV. It is a movement that aims to reinforce actions against violence, and it motivates people to create new ones. The goals of the DOVs are, first, to address holistically the varieties of violence, both direct and structural, in homes, communities, and in international arenas. Second, to learn from local and regional analysis of violence, the ways to overcome it. Third, to challenge the churches to overcome spirit, logic, and practice of violence, to relinquish any theological justification of violence, to affirm anew spiritual reconciliation and active nonviolence. Fourth, to work with communities of other faiths in the pursuit of peace and to challenge the churches to reflect on the misuse of religious and ethnic identities in pluralistic societies. Fifth, to create a new understanding of securities in terms of cooperation and solidarity instead of terms in domination and competition. Finally, to challenge the growing militarization of our world, especially the proliferation of small arms and light weapons.
The Church promoted ecumenism to address violence. Aside from the Vatican side, an example was in North Ireland. For more than 30 years, it was effective, and it was rooted from the discrimination of the rights of the minority.
Though the accepted causes behind it were political and social, the church leaders had misunderstandings and disagreements on violence, and these churches proceeded with their separate and hostile communities since they are still bound on the idea that they must secure their identity.
This thinking is rooted in the 16th century divisions, which have not yet been reconciled. People from all sides, with a few exceptions, live a life of sectarianism, meaning frame of mind which explores confessional differences to promote a sense of superiority, a denial of the rights of others, even a justification of violence.
Eventually, all the violence forced these separate groups to come together in ecumenism. Rallies and protests sprouted as movements against violence, even at the risk of attacks from revolutionaries from all sides of battle. Oftentimes, the only safe place to meet was in ecumenical groups.
Ecumenical activities became a significant source of creative thinking and energy for change through means other than violence. Ecumenism leads communities out of mutual suspicions and hatred into contact and eventually into relationships of mutual trust and collaboration.